Morning. I want to talk today a little bit, kind of do a follow-up to my post I did about intersectional veganism. Getting a bit of feedback, and I don't know, people, it's hard to really get your point across in a post. It's easier to kind of talk about it. You know, I made a meme, human rights activist, animal rights activist, and then a goofy looking intersectional vegan. I'll put a picture of it up here. But obviously, anytime you do something like that, it's a generalization. So let me just clear up right from the top. I know some intersectional vegans who are awesome. Some of the coolest people I know are intersectional vegans. You still feel like you gotta watch what you say around them. So it is what it is. But you have to remember, as Canada's only free-thinking animal rights activist, and as North America's only true inclusive animal rights activist / vegan, I see things a little bit differently. I look at things from a building bridges perspective, whereas everybody else has their little teams and they're sticking to it, and everybody else is the enemy. And yeah, I'm putting my arm like this to show my arm muscles, to take away from the fact that I'm really fat. I've gained a bit of weight. It's frustrating. It is what it is. And I'm just messing around a little bit there. But truth of the fact of the matter, of the situation, of reality, is if we're going to fix this problem, if we're going to turn the ship around, and I'm not just talking about animal rights here, I'm talking everything, society in general, we're going to need to understand at a core level, like really understand it, that the person over there who voted for the other guy or girl is not your enemy. The person over there eating the steak and calling you a fucking soy boy is not your enemy. These situations, these divisions have been created by others, by whoever's running the show. Could be as simple, if you want to believe in this system where we vote somebody in based on their platform and they uphold those values throughout their 4-year term or whatever it is, hey, good on you if you want to buy into that. I don't, per se, but let's just go, for the sake of argument, let's say that is a fact. Well, then they're the ones creating these divisions. They love it when we fight amongst each other. They love it when we just fucking look at the person, not the content, not what's in their heart. I've got this farm sanctuary hat that I wear, happens to be red. It's got the name of a farm sanctuary I visited in Washington State. It's a Amish farm animal sanctuary. I had a great time there last spring, so I bought the hat. Happens to be red. When I'm in the States and I walk into a grocery store or whatever, you should see people looking at me, eyeballing me if they see me from the side or the back. Well, there's a white guy wearing a red hat. And I love it because they look at me and they're going to get a close look at what the front says. Oh, it's an animal sanctuary. All right, well, that's got to be good for the animals on some level. And I can't really say it's opened up a lot of conversations yet, but it's sure been cause for a couple of chuckles. Anyways, you guys, you taking shit way too seriously. These people are put in place to divide us. They got the one guy in there now, and he's riling up all the white supremacists. Last time you had in the guy that was riling up all the left-wingers and Antifa types. At the end of the day, you all work in the same businesses. Your kids all go to the same schools. You get sick, you go to the same hospital for medical care. It's the people up there that are up, and I'm in a small car, so my hand can go only so far, and I'm not talking about myself, I'm not creating it, but people up there are the ones that are creating all this hatred amongst us. Luckily for me, I don't really feel any of it. I'm like the only animal activist that doesn't have hate in his heart for all these other people. All the rest of you are like I'm putting out things on there, and I'm like, and people are saying, I would never, there's no bridges to be built. There's no bridges to be built with a racist and this and that and the other. Well, isn't that what we do every day with animal activism? When you're doing outreach to a meat eater, you're building a bridge. You're finding a bit of a common ground between me as a vegan and that person as a meat eater. I was a meat eater once, so I find that common ground, whatever it may be. Even if there is no common ground, you find something. Guys, so this is a little bit of a point I'm going to sandwich in, and it's actually one of the most important points of this whole video, is when it comes to intersectionals and them pointing out the fact that all oppression is linked, and then that's how they justify bringing their human rights issues into the animal rights movement. And again, on paper, it's a great concept, but in practice, it's divisive and causes the animals to suffer through the fact that people don't want to be involved in something if it doesn't fit their own personal political agenda. So that's why I'm a big advocate of keeping human politics out of the animal rights movement. For example, these intersectionals that get all on their soapbox and they insist upon cramming every social justice movement into the animal activism. Where are they at the Black Lives Matter meetings or the trans movement groups? Where are they? Are they shaming them for not being vegan? If they serve meat at a feminist meeting, for example, are they shaming them and protesting the feminists for serving meat? No, they're absolutely not. It's ridiculous, and I would oppose that too. Everybody deserves their own social justice movement, including the animals, and I will say especially the animals, because they are the ones that can't speak for themselves, which makes it even more cowardly that the intersectionals do pick on the animals to do this. Because, do you think that the Black Lives Matter people would stand for having vegan issues forced down their throat? No, they would tell you all to fuck right off, and rightly so. I agree with that. I think that they should have their movement, and it should be supported, and animals should have their movement, and it should be supported. If people want to, in their own activism, on their own Facebook pages, do whatever the heck you want. I'm not saying anything different. I do the same thing. I'll talk about whatever I want on my own Facebook page, but when it comes to organized groups that are animal rights, if you put the name animal on your banner, let's keep it about the animals. People's personal politics should not matter. Thank you. We build bridges to help carnists, meat eaters, necrovores, whatever little cute adjective you want to use to call them. We build bridges to show them the error of their ways. So for all these so-called vegans, these intersectional vegans who won't attend a protest, no, they'll shut the whole thing down if somebody they know there is going to be pro-choice, or they get into a whole big tizzy. Oh, I won't. I have to character assassinate this person because as well as doing animal activism, they also are a pro-choice vegan, or they voted for Trump, or whatever the case may be that has nothing to do with animals. They make a big stink about it. You're not a true animal activist. You're also a coward. This world is full of different types of people. We all exist. You work with those people. You go to school with them. Your children go to school with them. And yet, for the animals, you can't put aside your differences and hold a sign for 2 hours? Yeah, there's something bigger at play. The people that go like that hard about it are not animal activists. They're infiltrators. Whether they even know it or not, they've been conditioned to hate. And they are literally killing the animal rights movement. They normalize their hatred. And again, I'm not condoning any other lifestyle. I don't care. The only group of people I see causing any trouble within the animal rights movement are the far left vegans. There, I fucking said it. I don't care who you vote for. You want to be a left winger, go be a left winger. You want to be a right winger, go be a fucking right winger. I just don't. I'm not involved in any of it, But it's the left wingers who seem to have co-opted the animal rights movement for their evil purposes. They'll use fear tactics to bend everybody to their will. It's like, oh, that person is a pro-life person. And again, I'm not talking about myself because I'm not a pro-lifer. I'm out of that issue altogether. You know what I'm saying? None of my fucking business. But I'm just playing devil's advocate as Canada and actually North America's only all-inclusive activist, and North America's only free-thinking vegan/animal activist. So it's my duty to kind of speak this truth. And as a free thinker, tell me where I'm wrong. I will I will change my opinions based upon evidence. So there you go. if you're going to shut down an animal rights event because somebody there is a pro-life vegan, or you're going to cause enough stink about it to make it a toxic environment, then you are the problem. There's pro-life people walking amongst us, doing business all the time. You're hurting the animals by making a big stink. Why is animal activism the one forum where all these people have to be discriminated against? You know, you go to the doctor's office, person sitting there is wearing a Trump hat, for example. What are you going to do? Get the whole place shut down? You're gonna start marching? No, you won't, because you want to get your Oxycontins, so you're going to sit and wait until you get them, aren't you? So anyway, sucks. I ran out of storage. I was really feeling the moment there, so I'm kind of losing my train of thought a little bit. The bottom line is building bridges is what we do. I recommend not discriminating against people based on anything. I've learned so much by going to animal rights events and standing shoulder to shoulder with people who have whacked out opinions on shit that is completely out there. And I listen. I keep my mouth shut except for, encouraging words to keep them going. And I want to hear their perspective. That's how you learn, guys. You don't learn by shutting people out and excluding them. That's what the government wants. Whoever the government is. And it's probably not some guy in a red fucking MAGA hat. Not that I go over here. It's not a red MAGA hat. I think the video I got before shared my stories of going into grocery stores in the States and how people look at you. Again, I'm just a normal dude. I'm a nice guy. I want to help animals. The only reason you're seeing me on here, I avoided social media like the fucking plague. The only reason you're even seeing my fucking face is because I realized I could do something for the animals, bringing my own perspective to it. And so far, so good. It's working. I'm not saying I'm as mainstream as a lot of people, because I'm far from it. But a handful of people have heard my message and got something from it, and either gone vegan or become an animal activist when they were already a vegan because of stuff I've said. So that's all I really need to know. I'm making my own small little difference in this crazy fucked up world. And don't think I'm hating on anybody. I think intersectional vegans have their place. And I only started making these videos and posts because I see how outrageous it is. And I looked at it. Is it who is causing the trouble within the vegan community? You look at all these Facebook wars, and what's at the root of it? Almost all the time is people bringing their human politics into it. Who suffers? The animals. You can go on a battle, and you're gonna all the people watching these Facebook battles. You'll never see them. They don't even interact with you, but they're watching and they're learning. They're learning. Okay, if I put my face out there, if I step up and say something, an opinion about animal rights or about this and that, you're risking being character assassinated by a bunch of freaking psychopaths. So how many people are sitting out there and not getting involved who could be making a huge fucking difference, but you are scaring them away by your hate tactics? And you say, you're inclusive. If you're an intersectional vegan who discriminates against people who are not, say, again, going back to the saying, it's so easy to pick on the pro-life people because that seems to be the number one argument. And they both have some points. I'm a guy sitting in the middle. Plus, I'm also a guy. I'm not going to get out and make a big deal about something. I mean, for me, okay, I'm just going to say it. Both sides have some valid points, but at the end of the day, for me, it has to come down to body autonomy. In other words, people should have the right to choose what they do with their own body. That's just it. I mean, I don't think too deeply about it beyond that. It is, do you know what I'm saying? So intersectionals can't fuck with me on that one, but I'm still sticking up for the pro-lifers, and I'm saying they have every right to be at that event as much or more than you do. And I'll go out on a limb and I'll say one pro-life Christian, right-wing, Trump-supporting vegan coming into animal rights and becoming active in it is 10 times more valuable than another fucking typical left-wing SJW coming in. We've got lots. You guys are well represented. Enough. Let these other folks come in and have their say. Make them feel welcome. Build a bridge. Talk about what you have in common. What do you have in common? You're vegans. You love animals. You want to stop animal agriculture. If you start there, if you focus on that, bridges will be built, opinions will be changed. You might find that you'll change people's opinions to the way you want it to be just by not being a complete fucking douchebag. It's not that hard, guys. It's not hard to be fucking cool to people who you have nothing in common with. I fucking hate religion. I absolutely think religion and government and all this shit is killing our planet. It's dividing and conquering. But I'll sit and talk to somebody who's a religious fanatic. I'll sit and listen to their points. I'll be polite and respectful. That's just what being a good person is. You know, it's not that hard to be nice, guys. So, in my opinion, we got one life, then we're a bunch of dust, dirt, fucking seagull shit. I don't know what we turn into, but I just want to be cool to people, man. And if you're an intersectional vegan, pro-life vegan, Christian vegan, Muslim vegan, whatever you are, I will proudly stand beside you and advocate for animals. Proudly, regardless of what we think of each other's views, opinions, whatever it is. And it's hard to really get too mad at me because I'm an open mind. You know, who knows, this time next year I could be a fucking Quran spouting fucking Muslim. I don't know. I'm open to hearing all different points of view. And again, that's why I'm the only North American activist with any real value at this point. The rest of y'all are just brainwashed. You've divided yourself into teams and not listening to anybody else. Open your mind, guys. That other guy, that person over there is not your enemy.